Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friend No Way of No Way's Thoughts. In this video, in these times that we are now seeing, I understand these are times that it is something that many Americans and many people are just not accustomed to. Many of us in like my age, this is not how we were raised. This is not what we were told could or would happen ever in America. But many of us over the last few years, we could see the writing on the wall. We knew what was coming. We understood the lengths that evil would go through and go to in our country to destroy, first and foremost, God. We must destroy God. And now I'm seeing, I'm hearing many people starting to second guess in a good way. Is God real? My concern with most is that it's what the Bible is saying and the truth in the Bible. One thing that has come up the past few days dealing with and listening to people and being engaged with people while we still have the means to do so. In the end time, it was foretold that God would separate the wheat from the tare. To understand the whole concept of this, we need to look at within the Bible where it came from. Well, we hear of you were to go out and plant seeds. You plant the seed of God, and you plant that seed in a person's heart. And God, in His time, in His way, will grow that seed within that person's heart. We cannot do it. We can only plant the seed, and God will grow it in His time, in His way. The story is told in the Bible of the planter planting the seeds and evil throwing in what is called tares. It's pretty much, it's a weed. But as they're first growing up, they look the same. A wheat and a tare, they look the same. Servants of God. And well, in this story, it's do we start pulling? And no, you leave them. We see that today. We have both. We have the servants of God, the saints of God. We have the true believers in God, and we're all mixed in the same field with the non-believers, the haters, those that will never see the light. But we are told to carry on. Anyway, let the wheat grow. For in the end, God will separate the wheat from the tare, as you separate your wheat from your chaff. Back in the day, a wheat, the head of the wheat plant has the kernels of wheat. Like anything of this nature, these plants in nature, there's a husk. What would happen back in the day, the workers, mostly, the women and the children, and they're preparing the wheat, they would rub it like this between their hands. And as the kernels would fall, the husk, the chaff, the wind would blow it away. Well, God is saying He'll do the same thing with the tares. God will separate them. But you may ask, how would God separate these, the true believers from the non-believers? Well, God knows your heart. So He knows who is a true believer and a true follower and a true servant of his Son, Jesus Christ. Now we can see that in this perilous pandemic time, the chaos it's creating, the panic, the fear. Many of us were always what they call hoarders now, but we're preppers. I am one that I do have a wood stove that takes no electricity. It takes wood. I always have wood, dried wood, on hand at any time. Winter, summer, it doesn't matter. I do live in a state in the country that you never know when a natural disaster is going to take away the electricity. You're going to need, many times, you're going to need a form of heat. You're going to need something to cook on, something to sustain. Well, there's necessities in life. There is food. There is water. This stuff I have always kept a good supply on hand, stocked up, with many different means, many different items, many different things to go along with this, and a plan. If this happens, I am ready for it. If this happens, I am ready for that as well. But what we're seeing today is so many people have put their faith in man. Their world is all that matters to them. They are the center of their world. Me, I, me. We're seeing that, and many are joking, but to me, it's not funny. And I don't speak of this lightly when I talk of these people, and to me, it's not a joke. When I see people going out of their way in this fear tactic, and they're running out and they are hoarding toilet paper, hand sanitizers, hand wipes, the Lysol wipes. Now, what I did do about a month ago, the wife and I looked through my stockpile. It's something you have to do all the time when you have this stuff always on hand. You figure it out. You take stock of what you have, and you remove some stuff and you replace it with new. Now, I did see the writing on the wall. I could hear the wording. I could see what was coming. I could tell by pandemic hit, and it was starting to go but nobody in America was paying attention to anything. I told the wife, we better go now, because it's going to get bad. If you wait until the panic hits, it's too late. And we're seeing that now. You go do your weekly grocery shopping like we've always done, and you can see there's nothing left on the shelves. You can't even really do a good weekly shopping like we've always done, because there's nothing left. But when we went out 3 weeks ago, the shopping center that we went to was packed with people, and they're just grabbing, loading carts right full. This one husband and wife, he's sitting there looking online, and it's hard telling, who knows what he was looking at. But when I looked into they're standing there, and the wife is over the cart, and when I look at the cart, they had gone over to the shelf, and they took every last package of those Lysol wipes. Every one. There was like 20 some odd of them in their cart. No food, no nothing, just hand wipes. They had enough in there to use in their house for a year or more. Now this is the problem. When people give up God, they don't believe in God, they turn away from God, they are the tares of the crop. They are not thinking of anybody else. They are only thinking and only care about themselves. If I came up to an item that I was going to purchase and I see there are 4 boxes left, that's it. I only take 2. I will take 2. I will leave 2 more for someone else. That's how you think about others. What will others need? And I'm not going to get more than what I do need. There's no need of it. I am not going to hoard stuff that I don't need, or more of an excess that I don't need, because somebody else is going to need something. Other people deserve the right to stock up on a few extra items. That's how it works. But now the key, ladies and gentlemen. Many of you may be thinking, what's God thinking? You know what God's thinking? God's looking for the people today, right now, in this pandemic. They're not thinking about themselves. They are thinking about others. They are looking around their neighborhood and around at their neighbors, and they're making sure that their neighbors are okay. They're making sure that they know that if other people need something, they are willing to share what they have. God is looking for those that are willing to help others in any way they can, regardless of the cost unto themselves. Those are the ones that God will grace. His guiding hand will be upon them. His help will be upon them. Because God, I don't care, and many may come later and attack me because, that's not in the Bible. But God helps those that help themselves. God protects those that look out for others. You need to make changes in your life. You need to do things that you're not accustomed to. You may need to, this family wasn't quite prepared. What can I do? What do I have right here with me today that can help them out? Can I get them somewhere? Is there still something on the shelves somewhere? Is there still some store that is not stripped clean and is not full of a bunch of crazy people that would much rather just run you over to get that last roll of toilet paper? Really? What about all the stories that we're seeing? I did not agree with the state of Tennessee going into those brothers and seizing what they have bought. You let God deal with those 2 brothers. You know why? They took their savings, their life savings, they took everything they had for greed. And they were going to resell that for a 1,000% markup. And they were going to get rich. But nobody was buying it. Why? We'll wait for the store to get a few more things that's still going. We're not locked down right now. I am not going to spend my money to buy your overpriced stuff so you can be rich. The state of Tennessee became totalitarian, and this we cannot stand for. How do they learn their lesson? You know how fast they would have been giving that hand sanitizer away? Hey, tell you what, man, here, I'll barter system. I'll give you a couple containers of this hand sanitizer for a few cans of soup or a few boxes of macaroni, or food items. They would have learned their lesson that way. But for the government, a state government, to come in and seize their property, this is the problem that is now arising. There's no reason, this social distancing, look at what they did. There's no fellowship in churches. Churches aren't running. Events aren't happening. People are not having fellowship at all. They're trapped at home, and they're doing it willingly. They've given up their freedom and their rights for something that you can't prove to me is real. It doesn't matter. I never listen to hearsay and, oh, well, it's happening because, well, they said so. I look at all the sites, ladies and gentlemen, and none of them add up. None of them. None of them say the same numbers. None of them have the same amount of infected, the same amount of recoveries, the same amount of deaths. None of them. They're all different. And I'm not saying totals. I'm saying when you break it down state to state to state, none of them are the same. There's far too much lies and deception going on, and these key trigger words that have been around forever. See, many of you may not realize or remember that back in 1986, the director of the CIA made a very clear statement. We will know that the disinformation program is complete when everything the American people know to be true is false. They're lying to you. My friend Rachel Rienstra done a live stream the other night, and she pointed a lot of this stuff out as well. It's the lies. I brought to you in my last video, I brought to you the very talking in a movie of what that played out exactly like Bill Gates' Event 201 did. They're saying the same thing. They're doing the same thing. They're saying this is going to happen. Now it's happening. Oh, but that's just a coincidence. No, it's not. It's planned. All this stuff is planned. They know what they're doing. Yeah, America, land of the free? Yeah, really? When a state government can up and tell you that you have to shut down your private business and oh, it's for the good of the people. And you have to social distance yourself and now they're censoring the internet so you can't even talk to people on the internet without them censoring it and saying it's a lie and this, that. They're lying to you. They set you up and so many millions of Americans, look at right now in California, we got a bunch of celebrities that I have no respect for them at all. A bunch of rich people trying to make you feel bad about what you have. They're not giving up nothing. You know what they're giving up? They're giving up their face on TV. They're giving up their popularity and their prestige, and they're strutting around town and spending their millions of dollars on themselves. Boo-hoo. Sit home. Kill your internet. I don't care. Imagine. There's no Hollywood to prove their ignorance and stupidity. Imagine there's no Hollywood to make you feel ashamed of who you are. God will expose the evil for what the evil is. God is looking for those that are willing to stand up for those that can't. God is looking for those that are willing to go to the ones that do not believe and get them to believe and fellowship with them. Show them that, well, yes, I'm calm. I'm my life is my life because my life is with God. My life is with Jesus because there is nothing that Jesus will not do for you if you only ask. If you are willing to take the blessings of what God will allow to be provided to you, what are you going to do? If I don't want no help check from the government, I don't need it. But they're going to probably send me one anyway. What are you willing to do with that? Is that, oh, I'm going to do this and that? And is it all about you? Or is it about what you may be able to do for someone else? Is there somebody in your neighborhood that their totalitarian government forced them out of a job all on this hoax and this scam? I, for one, will never take a vaccine. Never. That stuff is poison. They know it's poison. It's so people can get rich off in your stupidity. There is nothing in this world that God did not put here that God did not also put a cure for. I want to show you something, and it's worked. There's many things in here that have worked time and time again for me. Hopefully you can see this. It's called the Native American Healing Secrets. There's everything from even a colicky baby, headaches, pain, arthritis, illnesses of all types. Natural remedies right in this book. And it works. They do work. We have to stop bowing down to this tyrannical government. We need to start coming together as brothers and sisters in Christ. Many will say, oh, you have to bow down to your government. Well, there's certain things you do. But there's certain things you don't have to. You stand up for God, and you stand up for the freedom and the rights of the people. But be willing to take the punishment of what government will do to you for it. But God will reward you for standing up for His children. Be that voice to give others hope, even when our government will not. Even when our government will scare you into hiding in your house in fear and in panic. Trust me, they're not hurting. Do you think if any representative or senator from California, if they went back to the state of California, do you think they will lock themselves down in their home because the governor has this mandatory stay-at-home deal? Tyranny, oppression. We now see states that are openly allowing criminals to get away with crimes, putting you at risk. The Bible does state you have the right to defend your life and your family's life and the life of your neighbor against these evil doers. You have the godly right to do so, regardless of what government says. So, ladies and gentlemen, please think about where we are. Think about what's coming. This is just the beginning. This first 2 weeks, I couldn't believe there's no pushback, no nothing. People lock themselves right up. Other celebrities are lying to you. I got the coronavirus. No, they don't. They're lying to you. Openly lying to you. Whatever the reason that all this is going on, who knows? But listen, there's only one person you can trust. That's Jesus Christ. That's it. Trust yourself and trust Jesus Christ. Jesus will guide you through whatever. Jesus is the only way to the Father. Jesus is the truth and the light. The next time you see a person in these trying times, humor me. Ask them, are you okay? Is there anything you need? Is there something I could help you with? The elderly person, the disabled, the sick. These are the people that need a lot of help right now. Because even their own government has turned their back on them. You're on your own. I will tell you, God will reward you handsomely for the help that you give unto these people. Whatever it is that they need, no matter how big or small, humor me. Help them. And who knows? Maybe someday, because of that help you gave somebody else, when you are in need, somebody just may appear out of nowhere and ask you that same question. Do you need help? Is there anything I could do for you? They did make a very good movie about this. It's called Pay It Forward. Do it. Give unto others, and we can change this world. Put your faith in your fellow man, not government. Government never, ever has your best interest at heart, no matter what comes out of their mouth. Trust God. You got time at home now? Pick up your Bible. Read it. Start learning it again. Understand the wheat and the tare, the good and the evil, the holy war that is upon us. It may surprise you. So be safe. Don't panic. Don't take your frustration out on other people. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, as always, God willing, this is no way out.